I'm Sora Luxon, and this is tarot card the Hierophant. This is the Master's card, and when drawn, it often hints at the presence of an occulted guardianship, a Master's guardianship, tasking, or an individual. Grand Magus of the eternal rulers, the eternal gods. The Hierophant symbolizes Taurus, with the planetary exaltation of the moon, as Taurus resides in the house of Venus. This speaks to reconciliation of the mysteries of esoteric thought in practice. So this isn't symbolic of an individual. This is a much bigger idea form than that. This is the mystical side of masculine energies. The great philosophy, mental and spiritual internalization has a connection to the higher self, where the Emperor card was or is masculine energy directed as projective action, doing. The Hierophant is masculine energy as reflective energy in thought or in thinking. Varied tones of color here with earthly attributes instead of just one very bright or aggressive red suggest endurance and contemplation as seated, powerful forces within themselves. This is a deep internal thought and great interior power and force. The unity of mind and origin of all family, as carried forward through the ages, is being shown here. Community and mastery are words usually associated with this card, along with the concepts of higher education, cultural frameworks and or doctrines, social conditioning perhaps, or formal initiations, especially into structured groups. In another way, this is the climax, the pinnacle of very complex or very detailed, perhaps very complicated beliefs, finding their apotheosis. That is their summit, their crowning achievement, their crown here seated on the Hierophant. Sometimes this card is somewhat mislabeled as the Pope or the teacher, which are both lesser depictions, lesser versions, smaller representations of what the Hierophant embodies fully while seated at the peak of the many ways, of the many codes and methods of behaving that have resulted in this knowledged being. Others seek in humility before him, right? While the Hierophant has the keys to the kingdom ever ready, already at his feet. This card speaks in a lesser way as well of the structure of community, tradition, shared cultural mentalities, institutions like schools, churches, clubs, universities, political groups, mosques, synagogues. The list is endless. Any organization that's going to have its genesis in a shared belief or shared faith or practice or code of behaviors of some kind or another. So what to do if the Hierophant advises you from the deck? Honestly, look to see what your place within this card is. Are you the teacher figure, or are you that kneeling student? Are you committed enough to what you think you believe? Have you gone through your initiation? Maybe you should. This might not be a good time to break out of the social or cultural structures that are supporting and guiding you. Perhaps there is more being offered there than you've yet allowed yourself to receive. Maybe you need to stand up a bit taller or more firmly take that very heavy-seated presence for what you do believe in, or where your faith really is directing you. Are you interacting with the whole, with the community enough? Be open to that and open-minded towards learning more from the structures around you. Who are your family? Is it a nuclear family? Your group of friends that consists of your family? Do you serve them and the whole of that dynamic well and fully enough? Everyone has need of others. Cooperate and be accepting of cooperative guidance or aid. Maybe you don't understand something well enough on your own. Maybe you do need help from that study group in order to pass that exam, or you need the insight of your organization's leader to steer you back on course. Reach out to those kinds of interactions. Everyone needs someone else at some point in time. You are part of a whole. No one is ever truly alone. Maybe you should do that donation, charity, volunteer function that the group or organization you're with invited you to be a part of. Be okay with being helpful to others yourself as part of a larger whole. Reversed. The Hierophant reversed is anything and everything unorthodox. This speaks of breaking with tradition in a big way, or doing things in a very new, very untraditional way or ways. Breaking with or pulling apart from the quote unquote norm. Social or cultural organizational norms. The Hierophant reversed flips all of those on their head. Often it represents a system that is holding a flaw. There's a structure or a series of collaborative frameworks that have a problem built into them somewhere. Take a good hard look at what you do have your faith in. What are your core values, your core beliefs? And then look even harder and closer and deeper. They might need to shift, or you might need to be recognizing a shift that's already in them. You may be under the guidance of a leader who is deceptive or manipulative in some way, or you might be involved in or under the wrongful authority of a system that's just blindly following tradition and merit is lacking. Blind faith, trust, and loyalty can be very harmful. So take the time to decide for yourself what actual value is in whatever system you're following, or if there is value in it. There's a very good chance the Hierophant reversed is speaking to a lack, error, or disappointment in an organization or in an institutional outcome of some kind. Someone maybe made a poor decision which affected you badly, or perhaps you received a poor grade from a school or a poor review from an organization or institution that you're involved in some way. This isn't always a negative aspect card, so try to keep that in mind. Sometimes something different or a strange way of going about things isn't open rebellion or breaking with tradition itself, but just a different way. It's just something different and unique, and the card might be pointing to that. So what to do if you pull the Hierophant reversed? Be weird. Flip tradition on its head. Be okay with the new or odd way of going about things. Get on board with the unorthodox approach. Get out of that imprisoning box and try a totally new and different or unique perspective on your own. Brush off the dust of cultural and social norms and all those traditions and bust out into something new, some new clothes, new method, new way of thinking. Those structural stone columns, Boaz isn't on this card uselessly, but those columns have become oppressive. So get away from them. That's what the Hierophant reversed is saying. They're not serving you. Stand free of the old building, the old structure, and do it your own way. Question the norm. Ditch the organization or institution or group or club, at least for a while. Get free of it and be the outsider. Or maybe listen to an outsider and welcome them in with their views. Something isn't serving you well in the current order of things. So maybe stop being a student if you are one and take on that role of being the teacher instead to yourself or another. Or get out of the preset relationship frameworks that maybe you've become too accustomed to or that they're being forced on you. Break free of those. Or start the process of modifying them, change them, restructure the current condition of things. Something's gotta give here. Something's got to change with the Hierophant reversed. So allow that change, welcome it. Until next time.